our incredible authors from Burned, brave and inspiring stories from women who have overcome their fears to speak their truth and share their wisdom. My name is Tracy Brown, and I am the co-founder of the Women Writing Intentionally Collective, and I am joined today by the absolutely gorgeously divine Linsey Joy. Hi, Linsey.
Hi, Tracy. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. So this has been quite a journey because you bookended the Wounded Women series. You started out sharing your chapter in Betrayed earlier last July when it was released, and now you're making a return appearance here in Burned. So before we dive too deeply into your story, I really just wanted to touch on and ask you, what was it about Burned that spoke to you and made you want to come back and write with us again?
Well, first of all, it's just such a lovely series. I had hoped to do all three, but as I had mentioned during the launch of Betrayed, that broken about the mother wounds, that I wasn't quite ready to speak. I'm still working on those stories and those messages. I'm still in the midst of some healing, and of course, we write as we heal. Right, that is part of the healing process. If you don't know, that's something that you learn as you become an author. But I couldn't. The idea of only doing one in the series really was heavy on my heart, and because it was such a you and Tracy just put together a beautiful collection of the books together and the community of authors that you have cultivated. It's just really amazing, high vibe, and I don't say that lightly. The story for me was, it kind of came about organically because in the beginning, when the first book was coming out, when I was working on Betrayed, I thought, gosh, I really don't think I would even have anything to say for Burned. But the more I dove into the topic and explored it with you and with Tracy and some of the other authors, I realized that there's something really big that I have to say that I have been wanting to express in my life for a long time, and I've kept a lid on it. And it was just something that has kind of happened naturally over the last few years of my life, where I have this real calling in my soul and my heart to be more authentically me. I feel like there's part of myself that I've kept kind of closeted away a little bit, and I did not plan on it, but it just so happened that there was a conversation that happened last summer, and that turned into the event that I write about in my Burn chapter. So it was really just organic. I didn't ever say like, oh, this is what I had to say. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to share this platform with you and all of my author sisters, because it is really exciting, not just, of course, to be a part of the group, but also to literally be telling this story for the first time ever.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that sometimes the stories that we have to share, sometimes the stories that we have to tell are still in process, and it's not that they don't want to be told. Like, we can feel that pull that we need to share them, but everything in its divine timing, right?
Yes, I was exactly going to say that. Yeah.
And I'm so thrilled that for you, Burned did line up really well for you timing wise, where Broken didn't quite work out for us. But I want to touch a little bit more on what you just hinted at then about last summer and this incident that happened that inspired you, or that you touch on in your chapter, or that was the catalyst for the story that you're sharing. And without giving too much away, because of course we are launching Burned tomorrow, and
No.
we are super excited to have everyone able to go out and buy the book, and we really want everybody to read it. And I just want to quickly say, if you would like to connect with Linsey and sign up for her launch list freebies, Linsey, I'll get you to explain that in a minute, what you're offering if people purchase their copy of Burned tomorrow. But before you do that, I would love for you to just share a little bit about what we can expect from your chapter, or just give us a little hint.
Okay. So the hint is the key word, right, Tracy? Because you and I have discussed that there's definitely some surprises in my chapter, and surprises that as they happened, I didn't even see them coming. Many years ago, I had a period of my life that many people knew about what was going on the surface, but what they didn't know what was happening behind the scenes for me in a specific relationship, and how that impacted not just those years that I spent, but truly the trajectory of my life. And I basically kept it very, very private. Less than a handful of people have known about the things that I lived. And I talk a little bit about why I kept those secrets in my chapter. And so very organically, this conversation happened last year. And so the chapter is about the conversation, which is why it's called Start the Conversation. And the thing that I have learned, I'd like to say I've gotten really good at, is having difficult conversations. I am by no means perfect at it, especially when there's sometimes, we have the most difficult conversations of our lives when feelings are really amplified. But I've also found that when we work through the most difficult conversations that need to be had, it truly does open doors for us in relationship, in our authenticity. And it's really easy to hide parts of ourselves away from other people, even the people that we love the most, that we're closest to, that think they know us best. Sometimes we keep our biggest secrets from the people that we are, the most intertwined with. So what I have found is, by working through those blocks to keeping us shut off, it allows for not just an authenticity of self, but an authenticity of the people that we're interacting with. And so that's why I decided to make my free gift a PDF tool. I haven't fine-tuned the name of it yet, but it's how to have those difficult conversations, and how to speak your truth authentically and live more free and more joyously because you've done that. So, like I said, that's not the true title, but that's what I'm going for, because I've had so much freedom by having these conversations. And sometimes conversations are difficult when there's a topic that is really sensitive and you're not sure how it's going to go. And sometimes you just have no idea that you were holding yourself off from so much beauty in your life and in your relationships. So I'm excited to be putting that out there for anybody that purchases the book.
Oh, I can't even tell you how much I love that, Linsey. As you know, Jenny and I chose words for the year. It's something that I've been doing for a very long time now. I like to choose a focus word for the year, something that I want to call in and manifest. And so Jenny and I chose words for this year, and she chose the word freedom, and I chose the word joy. And so we really wanted to infuse that energy into all of our projects for the Women Writing Intentionally Collective for this year, and everything that we do and everything that we're planning. Really, we want to align it with freedom and joy. And so for you to be offering a guide for people to learn how to have those difficult conversations, which I 100% agree are so important, especially with the ones that we love, like being able to push through that fear of being seen or being rejected or the vulnerability, because we love those people so deeply and so desperately, that having those difficult conversations does free us. So I love that you said it was about freedom, and so that people can live joyously. So I cannot even begin to tell you just how beautiful I think that is, that you are also channeling this freedom and joy that Jenny and I wanted to bring into the Women Writing Intentionally Collective this year. So
I'm so glad to hear that.
So if anybody is keen to connect with Linsey, to get a copy of her guide to having those difficult conversations and being able to speak your truth with authenticity and freedom and joy, you can connect with Linsey through her link tree, which is just there on the little ticker below, and sign up for her launch list. And so then tomorrow, when the book goes live, Linsey will reach out and she'll contact you and let you know that that the book is available. And then all you'll need to do is send her a copy of your proof of purchase, and she will send out the guide to you. And
Tracy, you have to jump in and just say that my word that I chose for the year 2024 is embodied. And for me, that means really stepping into and living everything that I've been learning and believing and knowing, to actually put it into action. So I didn't even think about that when I did choose my word of the year actually back in November. It came to me really strongly. And I hadn't written my chapter at that point, and I hadn't even put together how, me telling this story and coming public with this side of me that a lot of people who have known me for a long time might be like, gosh, she's really different than she used to be, but maybe they don't know, likely they don't know why. And so this is the beginning of telling the story. The story is kind of an acorn to the oak tree of what happened. I'll just throw that out there. There's a lot of, so far, the consistent message I've heard is that it's like really exciting to read, but then also that it's very, people want to know more. So I know that, and I will be answering more of those questions as they come up. But me just telling the story is me being the embodiment of the values that I have been learning and growing for the last, a lifetime really, but specifically the last 20 years. So thank you for bringing up the word of the year. That was really neat to have that awareness of how it fits in with my word too.
Yeah, well, I think embodiment is embody is a beautiful word. And I think it's also so perfectly aligned with everything that we are striving to achieve with Burned as well. I also love that you touched on some of the feedback that we've been getting, because the reviews have been coming in from our advanced reader team. And I know that yesterday, one of our reviewers actually reached out and sent Jenny and I an email with her review. And she had left some comments and feedback about everyone's chapters individually. And in particular, she said that your chapter had resonated with her and touched her about a recent experience she had had. And she also went on to contact you directly. And for those of you watching, this is not somebody that Linsey knew. This is actually somebody in the review team that I was personally connected with beforehand. And yeah, so she reached out to Linsey to connect and speak with her about Linsey's experience, Linsey's chapter, and talk about some, how that resonated for her. And how did that make you feel, Linsey, to have that kind of validation about your story and what you shared?
So good. So good. There are some things in my story that I fully anticipate I'm going to get heat for. That didn't happen. You made that up. She's lying, whatever. And, while I don't think that's okay if that happens, because that's not who my chapter is for. My chapter is for the people like, I hope it's okay if I say her name, Barbara. I was just so touched and honored that she would go out of her way to reach out to me. But I'm also really excited and thrilled that she did, because that's exactly what I'm hoping to do, is to validate the other people that have had these crazy experiences. And I realized that's part of my mission here with this chapter. That's part of what I think spirit, God, the universe kind of had working on behind the scenes that I wasn't really privy to till now. That the reason I need to tell this story is because I'm not the only one who's had these things happen. And once the chapter's out there, once people have read it, once the plot twist has been revealed, then I'll go into more details. I'm really excited too. It feels kind of like I've got a lid on a boiling pot over here. I'm just um, you know very excited to see how it is received, because I don't know if more people will just be skeptical, or not just validating me, but validating the need for this story out in the world. But yeah, that's I don't know. I don't want to go on too much because I don't want to seem like I'm babbling, but it is really honoring and really touching. And I didn't write this story for anybody else, but clearly it needed to happen for other people to be seen as well. So super, like, all of the layers to this are starting to come undone in a great way. They're starting to, maybe I should say, they're starting to come together, Tracy. And I now, with launch happening tomorrow, maybe the readers and anybody out there watching knows that there is a lot that goes to putting these books together and getting them out to the world. And I personally am so grateful for you and Tracy and the whole team, Ruth, the editor. Everybody, all of the authors were all doing so much work behind the scenes. And so I'm really excited for tomorrow to happen and release it on the full moon and let it, just kind of relax and sit back and see what comes from it. So I'm over the moon.
Yeah, so I love what you're saying about how you wrote the story for yourself, and the thing that then came out of having written and shared your story was actually that you were lighting the way for other people to validate their experiences, who maybe they are sitting there like they've also got a lid on a boiling pot, because they've got these things inside them, but they don't feel safe and they don't feel comfortable sharing their experiences because they're afraid of being judged as well, or being invalidated by the other people around them. And I really think that you nailed an important point there, because with each and every chapter that is in Burned, each of the women who has written and shared their stories has touched on an element of their own journey, and it has been a healing part of their journeys for themselves. But also, like you said about it's unwrapping and all of the layers. And I often feel like the vibe is very much about like unraveling all of the pieces. But what you just said then about maybe it's actually more like bringing it all together, that really it's as much as it's us releasing these things out into the world, into the universe, and shining our light out there, it's also us calling back in those parts of ourselves, those soul fragments that we have given away or lost over the years, over time, because we have put them aside, we have hidden them, we have shoved them under the mattress and hoped that nobody will see those parts of us, that we can
in hopes that we could exist with them shoved under the mattress.
Yeah. And so as much as it's an unraveling, it's also a returning, because we are unpacking all of the things, but then we're reintegrating our experiences back into who we are. And we do have this amazing opportunity to shine our light and share it for those who need to receive the message and the wisdom that each author is sharing in her own story. But we also have had this beautiful opportunity to share and be vulnerable and be supported by each other along the way in our journeys, as well as we have had to, crumble in order to be able to rebuild.
It's this continual evolving. And yeah, I'm excited to meet the Linsey on the other side, because I think she's going to have a lot more friends, connections that maybe people didn't know they needed. And, I'm honestly, I'm just excited to not have to keep a secret anymore. It's heavy. And, it's time, not because I've kept the secret so long, but also because the culture's right, the energy's right. I could not have told this story 17 years ago when it happened. So yeah, you talked about divine timing earlier, and we keep becoming new versions of ourselves, Tracy, through this process. And yeah, I would absolutely love, maybe we could have some sort of another interview. It doesn't have to be, regarding burned, or maybe we could do this again regarding burned, but just after, like down the road, like let's talk about it deeper. Let's unravel the stories more and put the pieces together again. Let's look at it once the egg's broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could say all the things that we can't say right now without giving away the spoilers, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Right now we're trying so hard not to spoil the surprise for tomorrow, because we want each and every one of you who is tuning in to come and join us tomorrow for the launch of Burned, and to support our book and actually read our stories for yourself without us giving away too much and ruining the surprise for you. But there, like you said, there's more to unpack and more to discuss and more to unravel and bring back together once it's out in the open for everybody to, to come back and sit around the fireside and actually talk about what our journeys have been after we have shared these parts of us with the world, and how that's played out as well.
I'm really looking forward to having those conversations.
Yeah, me too. Okay, lovelies. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Linsey, thank you for coming and sharing a little bit about your chapter, Start the Conversation, that you
Thank you again for having me. I'm so excited, and just my ultimate gratitude to you and Jenny for all the work that you've done. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, we are thrilled to have you. Jenny and I absolutely adore you. And for those out there who are looking forward to reading our chapters tomorrow, you will also notice when you get to Jenny's chapter that Linsey is an integral part of Jenny's story as well.
I can't wait.
Exciting. So yeah, if you are excited to find out more about Burned, please do connect with Linsey through her Linktree, sign up for her launch list so that she can send you out the link tomorrow. Stay tuned on social media as well. We will be posting all about it tomorrow, sharing the links. And then, we would absolutely love it if you would, if you feel like the stories have resonated for you or connected with you, we would love for you to leave us a review or send us an email or reach out and contact us and let us know, how it has impacted or resonated with you, or how it has mirrored some of your own experiences as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Linsey. And we will see you guys again tomorrow.
Thank you. Happy launch day tomorrow.